Hey there everybody, this is 22 Tiger Dude here, and welcome to Chucky Attacks Halloween Extravagant Reviews, as Adam Haskell and I are going to be reviewing Cult of Chucky. So Cult of Chucky is written and directed by Don Mancini, and the film stars Fiona Dourif, Brad Dourif, Alex Vincent, and Jennifer Tilly. So Cult of Chucky obviously takes place after the events of Curse of Chucky. Nika is now sent to an asylum, but when deaths start to occur around this asylum, or when anything weird is happening, Nika believes it is the cause of Chucky. So before I review Cult of Chucky, my guest star Adam Haskell is going to be reviewing this movie. So Adam, take it away.
Thank you so much, 22 Tiger Dude, for having me on your channel to review Cult of Chucky. Now, before I start talking about it, I just want to let you know, I did do reviews for the previous 6 Chucky films. You can find, with Kevin Falk actually, you can find the Child's Play review on Kevin's channel. You can find Child's Play 2 on mine, Child's Play 3 on Kevin's, Bride on mine, Seed on Kevin's, and Curse on mine. So, yeah, I did do reviews of all the other Chucky films if you want to know my thoughts on all of them. So, yeah, the previous 6. So, yeah, I'm here on Tully's channel to do Cult of Chucky. So, Cult of Chucky is obviously the 7th installment in the Child's Play franchise, Chucky franchise, whatever you want to call it. And I wasn't the biggest fan of Curse of Chucky, but the ending of Curse of Chucky was so good, and it had me so excited for this movie. Like, even if I don't like an installment, I'll always be excited for the next one. I'm a big Chucky fan, and I'll always be excited for the next one, even if I don't like an installment. And, yeah, where this curse ended, it had me excited for this. I thought this could go in some cool directions, honestly. And I gotta say, Cult of Chucky definitely did not disappoint, because I think Cult of Chucky is a big improvement over Curse of Chucky. Curse of Chucky wasn't a bad movie, this is definitely a big improvement over that. I think Cult of Chucky is a great Chucky movie. I think it is everything I really ever wanted in a Chucky movie, honestly. And I'm going to explain why I think this is great right now. First off, the acting in this film. Okay, we got Fiona Dourif returning, reprising her role as Nika. She was in Curse of Chucky, and I thought she was the standout in Curse of Chucky. I didn't really like many of the characters in there, but she was actually the standout in that. And in this film, I think she is even better. Like, I was even more into her character in this one, honestly. Like, I really liked her in Curse. A lot of the characters I didn't really like in Curse, but her, I absolutely really loved in Curse of Chucky. Here, I think she's even better. I just really loved her in this role. I think she's a great protagonist. I can't wait to see her do more films. She is just so great. She's such a talented actress. I just want to see her do more work because I really like her. Next up, we got Michael Thurialt. He plays Dr. Foley. Michael Thurialt, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right. I hope I'm not butchering that. He was really good in this movie. I don't want to give away too much of his character, because there's stuff that goes on with him as it goes on, but he was really good here. I think he did a really good job. I really liked him in this movie, so yeah, he did a good job. We got Adam Hurtig in this movie. I loved him in this film. Like, I think he did a great job, and he's one of the he's like a new character we're introduced to in this film. He has like split personalities. He did such a great job playing this role. I was really interested. I thought he was a really interesting character. I really loved him in here, and I thought him and Nika had really great chemistry in this film. I really loved it, and I thought he did a great job here. I really loved him in this film. We got Elizabeth Rosen in this movie. Yeah, she's creepy in this film, but I gotta say, like she thinks like Chucky is like her baby and stuff. She's really creepy here. But I gotta say, she does a really great job playing this creepy character. I think she's really good here, and I'll definitely remember her. I thought she did a really great job here playing this creepy role. I can imagine it's a pretty hard role to pull off, but she did a really good job here. We got Grace Lin Kung here playing Claire. She's one of my issues with the movie. Not everyone in this movie is gray, and she's like the one I think does not do a good job in this movie. Her character really did get on my nerves quite a bit, honestly. I really didn't care for her character. There is one scene, though, that's really cool with her. Then we got Zach Santaggio and Morena Stevenson. I think I pronounced those names right. Not really a lot to say about them, but for what I saw of them, they did a very good job, and I really did like them in this movie. Alright, this is why it's such a big cast. Like, I thought Curse had, like, this big cast of all these people in the house, but holy crap, this movie's, like, has a crazy cast. Okay. We got Alex Vincent. Yes, Alex Vincent. Does that name sound familiar? He's reprising his role as Andy Barclay. It was just so awesome to see him in this. He's not in this movie, like, a ton, but he's definitely in it enough to satisfy me, honestly. Like, I don't think he was really underused, like some of the reviews are making him out to be. I wouldn't say he's underutilized. I think he's in it enough. I think he's in it quite a bit. Like, he's not, like, a big main character, but people gotta remember, this isn't about Andy. He's in here to satisfy me. I did like him in this film a lot. But we're still focusing on the Nika story. Andy already had his story in the original Child's Play trilogy. But it was just so cool to see him come back. I mean, I just loved him in this role. I think he did a very great job as Andy. And the opening scene of this film was just absolutely just awesome. The movie does open with Andy, and it is just awesome. I really loved him in here, and it was just so cool to see him back. I really dug him a lot. He just did a great job, and it's cool to have him back in this franchise. Again, not in a lot, but he doesn't need to be. This is still Nika's story. And then we got, last but not least, we got Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany. Yes, she's in here. She had one scene in Curse of Chucky, but she's in here a little bit. When I say Andy's definitely in this movie more than her. But she's in a little, and for what she had in this film, I thought she did a very good job. I really enjoyed her in here. I thought she did really good, and it was cool to see some more of Tiffany. The cinematography in Cult of Chucky is gorgeous. It is just a gorgeous cinematography. It's some of the best cinematography this franchise has ever had. And what I like about this film, I love how trippy this film is. It's such an interesting movie, and I love the score here. I also love the score in Curse of Chucky. And in here, it's kind of like a lot more fast-paced, like a faster version of that score. I just thought it really fit the tone of the movie because it's like a really trippy movie. I really thought it fit that very well. And the opening credits here are just fantastic, honestly. The kills in Cult of Chucky are great. I think this movie has phenomenal kills. I just love the kills in Cult of Chucky. I think this movie, it's definitely the goriest Chucky movie there is. Like, this is the goriest Chucky movie, and the kills were just awesome here. I loved them. Another thing I love about this movie is, like, Curse of Chucky did this thing where you had to, like, wait so long to see Chucky come to life. I know they were trying to go back to the roots, but it still could have been creepy if he came alive earlier. And this film, you don't have to wait an hour to see him come to life. He's alive. Like, within the first, like, 5 minutes of this film, you see him talking. So that's another thing I really loved about this movie, is that we don't have to wait so long, and this is proof that a Chucky movie can still be pretty creepy if, even though he comes to life a lot earlier. This is proof of that, okay? Curse of Chucky. So I'm glad we got a lot more Chucky in this movie than we got in Curse of Chucky, so that was awesome. And obviously Brad Dourif, I mean, what do I need to say? Do I even need to, like, obviously he's amazing. Brad Dourif as Chucky is still amazing. I still love Brad Dourif in this role. I still think he does a very great job. I mean, he's always going to be amazing. He still has that voice. And, yeah, this is basically like if you took the last 30 minutes of Curse and put it into, like, an hour-and-a-half feature. Like, Curse of Chucky really just lacked surprises in the first hour. Like, the last 30 minutes was, like, a lot of cool surprises and stuff. This film, it's a throughout thing. Like, this film, you get surprises throughout the whole feature. You get surprises, which I love about it. This film is just, within, like, the first, like, 5 minutes, it's, like, just full of just so much care put in this movie. Just so much care, so much effort. And I just love that about this film. This film is full of surprises throughout. It's not like this last 3 minutes. Like, throughout, this film is just full of surprises. It's like one great scene after another. Like, that's this film. As I said, for issues, yeah, Grace Kung, she wasn't that great in this movie. And there is a sex scene in this movie. It's honestly really out of place. I just didn't really see the point of that. We're just like, well, that was weird. And I guess the film could drag a little bit at moments. But other than that, Cult of Chucky is just a great Chucky movie. So it's honestly my second favorite Chucky movie. I put it right behind the original Child's Play. I think this is the best one we've gotten since Child's Play, guys. Like, I genuinely love this movie. Like, I loved it. This is everything I really want in a Chucky movie. The characters here are a lot better than the ones we had in Curse. And I just think it's a better done movie than Curse. I think it's just a more... I just think there's a lot more surprises than the previous film had, honestly. I love it. I'm going to give Cult of Chucky a 4 out of 5 or a B+. This is everything I really ever wanted in a Chucky movie. I think this is a great Chucky movie, and I really love this one a lot. Anyway, 22 Tiger Dude, back to you, man.
Thank you so much, Adam, for reviewing Cult of Chucky. Honest to God, considering the only film in this franchise I've been really a fan of is the first film, I was hoping Cult of Chucky could finally be that Chucky film I could actually say I enjoy besides the first film. After all this time, guys, I am so happy to say I finally enjoy another Chucky movie. Cult of Chucky. I can officially say this. Put this franchise back on track. This is easily the best Chucky film since Child's Play. Now, first off, of course, the film is called Cult of Chucky, so it already tells you straight off the bat that there's a cult. And I really don't want to talk too much about it because where this film took that storyline was so interesting. But I'm going to say how they handled the storyline where we see a cult was very interesting. And there's even some great comedic moments when it comes to that. The storyline in itself, I should just say, is very well written. I did really like the writing here. I thought the writing was very sharp. I feel like they finally found their footing on where to really take this franchise. And for the majority of the running time, I just found myself so interested in the storyline. This film really just takes place in one location, really. Like, there's going to be moments where they cut away to a different area, but really, for like 85% or 9% of the movie, it really does take place at this asylum. And I think the fact that it does take place at an asylum made this movie even more interesting because we actually follow a group of these characters at this asylum. And I have to say straight off the bat, I actually found most of these characters to be very interesting. They were very weird. They were very crazy. And like I said, makes sense. Asylum. But I surprisingly found these characters to be very interesting. I really wanted to get behind them. And there's one hilarious moment between Chucky and this old lady that definitely made for some of the funniest moments in this entire film. And that's something that I feel like has been missing with the majority of the installments in this franchise, actually having interesting characters. Nika is not the only interesting character in this film. It's actually a group of these other people, for the most part at least. I'll get to one person in a little bit. And there's even this doctor too. I have to say the actor, don't know his name, but he did a really good job playing that doctor actually. Like, he's just so evil. He did a very convincing job of playing this really evil doctor. And same for most of the actors that play these characters. Most of the performances were honestly really good. Fiona Dourif, just like in Curse of Chucky, this woman, she really nails this role. With Curse of Chucky and Cult of Chucky, Nika has easily become one of the best characters in the entire Chucky franchise. She's obviously up there with Andy, who I'll get to in a little bit. She's definitely one of the best characters that this franchise has to offer. She's great in Curse, but she might have been just possibly a little bit better here in Cult. I really got behind Nika, and that's just because Fiona Dourif really is so great. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the time has come where I could say Alex Vincent as Andy has officially returned to the Chucky franchise. My God, does it feel so good to see Andy again. Alex Vincent, although not in this movie a whole lot, he's in the movie, I think, enough. I could definitely say that. But when he does show up, he's really good in this film, and they really use his screen time so well. I really love what they did with his character, because you know, he's been through a lot as a child. He really has. And when you see Andy in adult form, you see how sick and tired Andy is of Chucky at this point. Like, you could tell this guy has had it with this doll. It's gotten to the point where he really is not afraid anymore. That's really cool to see how much his character has progressed since when he was very, very young. It just makes me so happy to see him again. I definitely look forward to seeing where they'll take Andy in the next Chucky installment. And another returning character, and it's not necessarily a character I'm a fan of, but yes, Jennifer Tilly is also back as Tiffany. And look, I'll be fair, I'll say this, thank goodness I didn't despise her like in Bride of Chucky and Seed of Chucky, because I thought Jennifer Tilly was absolutely horrible in both the films. She is horrible. Luckily, in Cult of Chucky, she isn't. I didn't really mind her. Her performance, surprisingly, is not bad. Definitely not one of the strongest performances in this film, but you know what? For what she had, I didn't really mind Tiffany, surprisingly, and they did try to do something interesting with her character that I did very much appreciate. She's not in this film that much between her and Andy. Andy's definitely in this film more. She has 4 scenes in total, really. You only see Tiffany in a total of 4 scenes. However, in the total of those 4 scenes, surprisingly, I didn't really mind her. And something I have to really acknowledge in this film are the kills. This film honestly has some of the best kills I've seen in the entire franchise. This is honestly the goriest Chucky film I've seen too, at least thus far in this franchise, because yes, the other installments have had their violent moments. For sure, they've had their violent moments. However, Cult of Chucky really takes the gore to the next level, which is something that I have to really respect the filmmakers for really going out there. And even though this film doesn't focus on kills every single minute or anything, whenever there is a kill, it is just so cool. It's just really gory, it's so brutal, and it really added a lot to the fun factor, especially in the third act. The third act is where this film gets the most gory, and it is so awesome. You definitely get plenty of Chucky, but you also do get plenty of character moments to really balance out this film. I'm just glad I don't have to sit through 2 acts of there being barely any Chucky and then the third act all of a sudden having Chucky. No, it's actually throughout that we get plenty of Chucky, and that's something that I am really happy about with Cult of Chucky too. And because of that, for the most part, I really wasn't bored with this film. The score here too also does not disappoint. The score really did fit the atmosphere, this very weird and crazy atmosphere, because like I said, it takes place in an asylum, and I really liked how trippy they made this too. I thought the trippy moments really added a lot to the craziness of this film. Like when the writers were putting together the script, you can tell that they just wanted to make a very trippy movie and add these crazy elements throughout the film to keep it interesting, and I honestly thought it pulled up very well, and because of that, I do feel that Cult of Chucky is actually a very well written movie. There were twists and turns in this film that I thought added a lot to the story. Yeah, I will say not all the twists and turns are necessarily unpredictable. I did see some coming, but these other twists and turns, they did catch me off guard in a good way, of course, and I thought those were handled very well. But even some of the twists I did see coming, I wasn't really bothered that, oh, that was predictable, because I did feel like that it really fit the storyline. Like there is a twist specifically when we get towards the end of the film, and of course I'm not going to spoil it, but I did see that coming. It was a little obvious, definitely, for sure, but I do think, even though it was predictable they were going to go in that direction, I actually still liked it. I still thought it fit the story. So even when a certain twist was predictable, it didn't necessarily bother me. And my God, can I just say the cinematography in this film, just like with Curse of Chucky, you know, as far as these straight to Blu-ray movies go, wow, this is a straight to Blu-ray movie. Let me repeat myself. This is a straight to Blu-ray DVD movie. And the cinematography is so beautiful to look at. Wow. This is so professionally shot, especially the snow. Any scene that shows the snow alone was absolutely tremendous. Cinematography here, really spot on, and same thing goes for Don Mancini. This guy really has improved a lot since See the Chucky, but you know, after Curse and after this, he definitely has come a long way since See the Chucky. I have to give Don Mancini a lot of credit. He really did such a terrific job directing this film. Just like with Curse of Chucky, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Curse of Chucky, the direction in that film is very beautiful, and he did possibly an even better job directing Cult of Chucky. I really did feel like I was in this world because of how beautiful his direction is. And you could tell Don Mancini is very passionate because just like Curse of Chucky, he does go back to the old school Chucky. Like, you actually get old Chucky again. Like, as far as the design goes, you actually get that old school good guy doll Chucky again, and that was so cool. It's definitely a fan service film for those that have adored the Chucky franchise. Don Mancini delivered that pretty well with Curse of Chucky, and I think it was done just as well here with Cult of Chucky. It's a fan service movie. There's a lot of things, a lot of nods that will definitely satisfy the Chucky fans. Now, of course, when it comes to flaws regarding Cult of Chucky, I will say that it is predictable. I mean, it's a Chucky film, but it is predictable when someone's gonna die. Like when you see Chucky up to something diabolical, you know something's wrong, and you already point the screen going, yep, that character's gonna die, that character's gonna die, oh yeah, that character's gonna die too. And you know, it has that cliche that no one believes Nika. I just find it funny that we're 7 movies into this franchise. Think about it. We're 7 movies into this franchise. Chucky has committed a lot of murders over these years, yet we're at this point when characters still don't believe a certain protagonist, when that protagonist is trying to warn them about Chucky, yet no one seems to believe her. Like, oh man, she's crazy. Like, really, people? We're 7 movies in, and we're still at the cliche of no one believing that certain character. Also, I did mention one performance that I thought was pretty bad, honestly. Not only was this actress bad, but this character annoyed me. That character is Claire. Thank goodness she's not in this film that much, but man, when she was in Cult of Chucky, that character really got on my nerves. And I thought the actress, whose name is Grace Lynn Kong, I thought her performance was really bad. There's also an out-of-place sex scene in this film. Like, I know the sex scene was going to happen, first of all, because, man, did they make it very obvious. It happens within, like, the first 10 to 15 minutes of the movie, but when it happened, it just felt so out of place. It's like one of those scenes where you're in the editing room and you look through what scenes don't belong in a movie and what do. That sex scene easily could just been shaved off because there really was no need for that to happen. It didn't really add anything to the story. Although the humor was very good in this film, there were plenty of times where I was laughing watching Cult of Chucky. Once in a blue moon, I do think that the humor could have been a little bit better. There are also a few times where I thought the pacing was dragging a bit. It's really when we get to the second half. The first half of Cult of Chucky, I thought it was very well paced. It's just when we get to the second half where I thought a few parts were dragging just a bit, and I do think that the movie could have picked up the pace. And my final issue with Cult of Chucky, and it's really hard to talk about it, they bring back something, and let's just say I was not too big of a fan of that. Overall, thank the heavens. Thank the heavens, I can actually say I enjoy another Chucky film. It's not just the first film. I can actually sit here and say I really enjoyed the first film and the seventh film. Now, obviously, between the two, I do think the first film is just a little bit better, but this Chucky film gave me what I want to see in a Chucky film. They did change things up for this franchise, which I really appreciate. I just really like the fact that we got to spend most of the movie inside this asylum, and because of that, we got to have some very weird and trippy and intriguing scenes to keep the plot going. Don Mancini does a beautiful job directing the film as well as writing the film. The comedy is very well done. The horror elements are very well done too. Also, the post-credits scene for Cult of Chucky, that was pretty dang awesome. I'm going to give Cult of Chucky 3 out of 4 stars. So you guys, in the comments down below, let me know what you think about Cult of Chucky. And I want to thank Adam Haskell so much for reviewing Cult of Chucky with me. He has a great channel. He's a very cool dude. If you guys want to check out his channel, I will leave a link in the description down below. And everyone, on Universe of the Blue Tubers as a Halloween special, the guys and I, we actually rank the entire Chucky franchise. If you want to see my ranking as well as the guys' rankings for the entire Chucky franchise, I will leave a link to the video in the description down below. And if you like what you see on the Universe of the Blue Tubers channel, feel free to subscribe. This is 22 Tiger Dude here, and don't forget that I will always have Tiger Power.